Engineering controls are physical devices used to eliminate hazards at their source. Some engineering controls include hand and eye washing stations, biohazard labels, or self-sheathing needles. These controls must be easily accessible and near the point of care. Regular inspection and maintenance of engineering controls are mandatory. Work practice controls are designed to influence the actions of employees to reduce the likelihood of exposure. Some examples would be policies on hand washing, regulated waste, and recapping needles. PPE, engineering controls, and workplace practice controls should be used in unison to limit exposure to BBPs. Employers must make PPE available at no cost and in all sizes to the employees. Employees must use PPE. Gloves should be disposable and replaced as soon as they are torn or punctured and made of fluid impervious material. Inspect gloves before use. If you have cuts or sores on your hands, you should cover these with a bandage as an additional precaution. Double gloving can provide an additional layer of protection. When removing the first glove, your hand is protected because both are covered with the glove. Grab the outside of the infected glove and remove. To remove the second glove, your other hand is no longer protected, so carefully slide one finger inside the glove where there is protection and remove the glove by inverting it upon itself. Change gloves and wash your hands if dealing with more than one victim. Never rub the eyes, mouth, or face while wearing gloves. Dispose of gloves as well as any other PPE clothing in biohazard disposable bags. Wash your hands after glove removal, an exposure incident, or cleaning of BBP areas. Hand washing is one of the most important and easiest practices used to prevent transmission of blood and airborne. Use antibacterial soap. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, which equals singing happy birthday twice. Hand washing facilities are required to be provided by the employer and accessible to all employees. If your job is outside, the employer must provide proper antiseptic hand cleaners for certain jobs. If there is a spill, follow the proper processes for cleanup, decontamination, and sterilization. 10% bleach with water provides good sterilization. Wear gloves when cleaning potentially infected areas. Do not pick up broken glass with bare hands. Use tongs or a dustpan. Dispose of regulated waste properly. OSHA defines regulated waste as any material that contains blood or OPIM in both liquid and dried states. Contaminated sharps. Pathological and microbiological waste containing blood or OPIM. Regulated waste must be placed in containers that are closable, leak-proof, and puncture-proof, labeled or color-coded in orange or red-orange. Contain the universal sign for biohazards. Closed prior to removal to prevent spillage or protrusion of contents. If outside contamination of the regulated waste container occurs, it must be placed in a second container meeting the above standards. If clothing becomes contaminated with potentially infectious pathogens, remove them in a manner that avoids contact with skin and mucous membranes. If necessary, cut the shirt to safely avoid contact with the body. If there's a chance your clothes could get contaminated, always bring an extra set of clothing. Do not bring contaminated clothes home to launder. Your employer is responsible for the cleaning. Contaminated laundry must be handled as little as possible with a minimum of agitation. It must be bagged or contained where used. It must be placed and transported in appropriate biohazard containers. If laundry is wet, it must be placed and transported in containers that prevent soak-through or leakage of fluids to the exterior.